living independently isn't necessarily the same thing as living alone and living a lonely life. It means still being connected and still being part of something and a community. And that's a little bit of what I took away from the ONSIDE project as well, because I found people were connecting. Yes, we were learning computers, we were learning about being disabled identities. We did disabled equality training, which was brilliant because that was my first time doing it, even though I've adopted the disability identifier for a long time. I've never taken part in disability equality training. And that's the type of language we develop as a community together to understand things. And we're a diverse community. So my life in the Northwest, I first of all, I found out that I was actually LGBT before I realized I was actually disabled. It's an interesting turnaround in terms of discovering identities. It would be a while before I'd actually adopt the disability label as an identifier, because hang on, that's what disability actually is. It's when the world disables against you, when society creates frameworks that put me on the back foot as an individual. And I've had these experiences without realizing and that there was a name for it that I could access, because like a lot of people, I presume disability just meant visually impaired, just meant wheelchair user. And that was the stereotype that I understood. So there was a lot of deprogramming of what my identity as a disabled man in the Northwest had to be, because it took me a while to actually see that and to be recognized and to have conversations with other people in the disability community about the different ways it works. For me, when it came to understanding the experiences, some of the experiences ranged from just having people shield my eyes when walking into rooms they thought there was flashing bulbs going to be in. And I was like going, no, I love a bit of sequence and dance. Still want to be part of the gay community. I'm not photosensitive. Let me explain a little bit about that sort of thing. So it's something that I've been able to talk to other people through ONSIDE, and getting to know people with IMLI, and developing the local groups as well. We've been able to talk more and more about what it's like to have these different experiences, because taking part in the ONSIDE project work that were less direct, that maybe we couldn't have predicted, where it was the fact that I was able to take some of the skills around the technology we worked with and use them for some of the community groups that I work with, but including Full Spectrum Ireland, which is a disabled LGBT persons organisation, a peer network that we've set up. I've also been able to use it, with work that through Leitrim Pride and communicating with local people and in the area to say why we need Pride to be accessible, and looking at points of view from there. I'm lucky enough that I'm not the only disabled person involved with Leitrim Pride, but because I was that much more involved in the disability community with the ONSIDE training in a way that I haven't been able to be before, I was a bit more confident about going in there by myself into spaces, especially during COVID, where we can't go out with 3 or 4 people and just descend on local government and say, this is what we need. We have to be mindful of these things. So it was very, very good to be able to kind of go in with that extra bit of confidence to say to the local groups what we needed from their spaces, why we needed certain access points cleared from venues and places that wanted to keep their places as accessible as possible. It seems to be the year that people want to learn and want to do these things. And if it hadn't been for my involvement with the ONSIDE program, I think I'd be a little bit more reserved about it, because I wouldn't know where to turn or what language to use necessarily. And I think that's part of what the training does. It helps equalize things and put people on the same page.